Hey guys, it's Chris with Double Eagle Gunworks, and today we're going to be switching out the sight on the 365XL that I just purchased, going from the standard sight that comes on the 365, taking off this back plate that has the rear sight built onto it, and we're going to be installing the Romeo Zero micro open reflex sight. And this one is designed to work with this gun. It's just the same width and everything as the gun itself. And so all we should have to do is take the rear sight off and put this one on. So let's get started. Of course, the first thing you want to do is make sure you clear the gun. Everything's empty. And then you got to take the slide off. And we'll put the frame over to the side there. Now, with the 365, it has two screws here in the bottom of the slide, and you just have to take these two screws out. You don't have to take the striker or the extractor or anything like that out to be able to get to it like you do on some other guns. Hold on to the rear sight as you're taking the screws out. Okay, so you just need the 5/64 Allen wrench to be able to take this off. And I've always got these loosened up a little bit, but let's go ahead and finish taking these screws out. And they're fairly long screws because they go all the way up into the rear sight. And with this tiny little screw, you got to be careful not to round the inside of the screw out. And it's wanting to be just a little bit aggravating coming out because of that. See if now that I got it started, this screwdriver will work any better. Okay, so got the screws out there. So when you take the rear sight off, it has a separate plate, and then the rear sight is a separate insert into the plate, and then you got the two screws that go back into the sight. So we'll just put all that back together so that nothing gets lost. Okay, we'll set that over to the side. So when you have that taken off, you may just need to wipe it down a little bit. Where I cleaned the gun yesterday, but this was still on top of it. Let's go ahead and get the sight put on here. I've already got the little piece of 3M plastic tape applied to the top of the slide here. It's just helps to insulate the top of the slide from the bottom of the sight. So because the bottom of the sight does not have a bottom plate on it, it's just open. So the plastic piece here helps insulate it from the heat of the slide. And then, so I've got all that lined up, and the sight comes with two sets of screws. It's got the M3 screws, and then it's got a set of M4 screws. And the M3 is what you want to use with the SIG, and that they're designed to work with this gun. And the battery for the sight is a 1632 size watch battery. So you just put that in the bottom of the sight with the positive side up, and then you just want to hold that in place while you position the sight on the gun. Now, since it doesn't have any kind of retainer clip or anything to hold it in place, you just got to hold it on the slide while you're putting everything in. Now, the screws come with a little bit of green Loctite on them, and so it makes it a little bit harder when you're putting the screws in place. Feel like you might be cross-threading them a little bit, but you're actually not. It's just the green Loctite that's causing them to be a little snug. But we'll go ahead and use the Allen wrench that's provided to get these things started correctly. And the housing on the Romeo Zero is just a plastic housing, so you don't want to tighten these things down too tight. The instructions say to use 9 foot-pound of torque, or I'm sorry, 9 inch-pound of torque to hold everything in place. And my fat wrench does not have a small enough tip to be able to do that, so I'm just going to do it by hand and just make sure I don't torque it down too much and crack this plastic housing. So I've got them snug there, and then we'll turn the wrench over and just tighten them up just a little bit there. Okay, so that's what the slide looks like with the Romeo Zero mounted on it, and we're going to take it out to the range now and get the windage and elevation lined up on it and see how she shoots. Okay, guys, along with testing the Romeo Zero today, I'm also trying out a couple of different microphones to see if it helps with the sound quality of the videos. Inside, when we were installing the Romeo Zero, I had on the lapel mic, and now I'm trying the headset mic, see which one is going to sound better. So if you can tell any difference, then put some comments in the comments below and let me know which one you think sounds better. And then the microphone that we're using is the Alvoxcon microphone system, and it's got a receiver that mounts on top of the camera, and then it comes with 2 headset microphones, 2 lapel microphones, and 2 of the transmitters that you it's a wireless transmitter that you wear on your belt or in your pocket, wherever you want to. So let me know which one you think sounds better. Hopefully this makes the videos sound better, and while we're outside we don't get a lot of the cricket noise. So let's see how it goes. Now, we've got the Romeo Zero mounted on the slide of the 365XL, and we're going to get it set now to try to get on target and see how everything looks. Now, to turn it on, there is a small button right in front of the glass, and you really can't see it very well in the picture, but it's just a small little rubber button right in front of the glass that turns the unit on, and that also has 8 different brightness levels for the red dot. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Just hold it down for a couple of seconds. It brings the red dot up. There we go. And then, so just holding it out there now. Looks like we're going to be high and right of where we're wanting to hit. So it comes with the Allen wrench to be able to adjust the windage and elevation on it. So we'll do a little bit of adjustment on this. And just check the instructions here. So if you need to raise your point of aim, then you're going to turn the elevation screw clockwise. If you're going to lower it, then you need to turn it counterclockwise. And then the elevation
or the windage rather, is if you need to move the point of impact to the left, then you would turn the windage screw clockwise, and if you need to move it to the right, then you turn the adjustment screw counterclockwise. And the little adjustment screws, the elevation windage, or the elevation screw, is on top of the sight here, right in between the what's supposed to be the rear sight on this thing, and then the windage screw is on the left-hand side of the unit itself. So let's go ahead and get this adjusted a little bit. So to get it to move the point of impact to the left, we're going to need to turn the windage screw clockwise to be able to get that thing adjusted. Actually, to move it to the left, you go counterclockwise. I've got the dot in the number 9 ring there, and I've got the sights. Looks like it's hitting about the 10 ring. So let's see where it actually hits. Okay, looks like it hit up in the 9 ring. So looks to be hitting about where I'm aiming with the dot there. So I'm going to put the dot right on the bullseye and see if that works. Let's drop it down just a little bit. Okay, looks like we're pretty good left to right. May still be just a little bit high with the sight, so we'll put another magazine in and drop her down just a little bit more. So I'm still hitting a bit high with it here, so let's the groups are nice and consistent, but I'm still a little bit high of where I want to be. So and I've just got to figure out exactly how to hold it with the red dot on it. When I was shooting it yesterday with the regular iron sights on it, I was hitting dead center right here in the X and the 10 ring. Just about every shot I had one up and one down, but everything was pretty well right here where it was supposed to be. So let's drop it down just a little bit and maybe move it over to the left just a hair. Okay, so we're going right dead center of the X. That's where I've got the red dot pointed, so let's see where we hit. Still hitting high. So I guess I've got to adjust my point of aim a little bit and get this thing down a little bit further. Just got to figure out how it's hitting there. So I guess it kind of needs to be lined up right on the front sights. Okay, I'm going to adjust my point of aim a little bit here. I may be holding the dot a little bit high of where I think it's supposed to be hitting. So I'm going to pull my aim down a little bit to where the dot actually looks like it's lined up right on the front sight rather than being a little bit above it, and see if that makes a difference. I think that may be part of it. I'm just got to adjust to where my hold is. But I'm going to take it down just a little bit more. Okay, so it's still pretty consistent where I'm hitting. I've got to get used to it. It's the first time I've done much shooting with the red dot type sights on a gun, So just got to get used to how you hold it. But I probably need to go down just a little bit more with it. But it's pretty easy to pick up the sight, and it's got different brightness levels on the sight itself. I don't know whether the camera is going to pick that up any or not. And it's a very small button in there. And I've got very big fingers, so it's kind of hard to get in there. But you got different brightness levels that you can do in there. But I'm trying to get that thing lined up right on the front sight to see if that's where I need to be holding the gun. But I'm going to adjust it down a little bit more next time I shoot. But it makes the acquisition of the sight pretty quick with the red dot. So as long as the dot's kind of where you got it centered where it's supposed to be aiming, you can pick up the target pretty easy with the red dot on it there. So I think it's be a good addition to the gun. Once I get used to it, it'll be really easy to pick up the target and make everything work pretty well on the gun. Okay, guys, after doing some more research on how you're supposed to set up the red dot sight, because I was still hitting high when I was shooting the other day, I was looking into it a little bit more, and also just wasn't thinking the other day too. I've got my red dot laser sight that I could put in the barrel to help line it up as well. So we're going to use this along with the red dot to try to get everything lined up before I put any ammunition in. So we're just going to put this in the barrel of the gun. It's got the adapter for the 9mm in it. So right now the laser is hitting at the in the bullseye there, and I've already adjusted on the inside a little bit with the red dot as well, and looks like we're pretty well right on top of each other. Like I hit a little low, but I jerked it. Okay, it's hitting a little bit lower than I was expecting, so. Well, it'd help if the target wouldn't move. Okay, we're going to go for the up toward the right shoulder, see if we can. I'm hitting lower than I had expected. Okay, that's about where I was aiming. Okay, we'll go to the left shoulder on this one. And that's down about the armpit. Just when you think you got something figured out, you know.
Okay. I think we're back about where it needs to be now. Just takes a little playing with and getting used to getting the sight back on target. It's for me, at least right now, it's easier to use the regular iron sight just because I'm not used to using the red dot sight. But I think once you get used to using the red dot and get it to where you pick that dot up every time, it'll make it a lot easier to get it on target pretty quick. So overall, I think it's still a good system, and probably a lot more people are going to start going to it just to make it a lot easier to get yourself on target.
So we'll have some more information on the website later about this. Again, let me know what you think about the microphones, which one worked better. But check out doubleeaglegunworks.com for more information, and like and subscribe down at the bottom. Talk to you later.